So for the last 72 hours, 48 specifically, I have been bombarded doing interviews in Italy, here in Canada, in the largest multicultural station, in the Italian station, Chin Radio. I have done interviews in Italian newspapers. We're doing my show here. We had D'Amico on last week talking about Giovinco. And now I give you my take on what an embarrassment, what a disgrace, what a joke, Mr. Conte, you are. How can you not select a guy that has done everything and more to be part of this squad going to France? MLS MVP. He has wonderful vision, great creativity. He has turned MLS upside down, put everyone on alert back in Europe that I'm for real. I have done things that I've never done before in my career. I can do them in Europe, as I showed Mr. Conte when he called me up in those games for Euro qualifying. He came off the bench and he set up that goal, if I recall. Giovinco, small in stature, big in heart. Giovinco, grande. Mr. Conte, explain to me how you take Eder over him. Explain to me that. Daniele De Rossi today goes out with an injury. Genius move, Mr. Conte. Montolivo's not at 100%. Thiago Motta is not at 100%. I could go on. And people trying to call this league a retirement league. And Mr. Conte saying, this is what happens when you make the choices you do, Mr. Pirlo and Mr. Giovinco, when you come over to MLS. Basically, a slap here, a punch to the gut to MLS, to North American soccer, to Toronto FC, to Sebastian Giovinco, which it broke my heart, and many people today at training session watching him describe the feelings, the emotions of not being selected. I don't even know, honestly, if he was officially told and given a phone call by Mr. Conte. That would have been nice if he would have did that, but I don't know that for a fact if he did or he didn't. Shame on him if he didn't, or at least someone from the Italian Soccer Federation calling him up. This is an absolute joke. Look, before we get to this, I'm going to give you some facts that you need to chew on, Mr. Conte, because you consider MLS and North American soccer a joke league. And somewhere in the statement and in the words you talked about yesterday, you said that you sent people over here to watch Pirlo and Giovinco for 7 days. 7 days! MLS is just not even a third of its season into it. And you talked about the stamina that you didn't see, that the reports you got back from Giovinco, and the stamina that you need to have to play in a tournament like this, a short tournament. You're off your rocker, dude. You absolutely need your head examined. Here's a guy that maybe he's not a starter on your weak Italian squad, but he's a guy that can come off the bench and give you at least 20, 25 minutes solid. He can give you a spark. You have no Marco Verratti, who was the guy that was going to bring you that vision, that beautiful creativity with the ball, that would spread it around. You could have brought Giovinco that could have added some of that help with the absence of Mr. Verratti. You didn't. My blood is boiling. I feel like just throwing stuff at this guy because as a Southern Italian, like Mr. Conte is, and Giovinco as well from that part, you know that this is going to be a clash of two Southern Italians. I know because I can speak. I come from that part. And Conte wants to really shove it to MLS and North American soccer by saying, I'm going to live and die with the squad I picked, and I'll show everyone. Well, I guarantee you what, I'll come back here on my show if they get to the final and win it all. I will apologize 20 times over. I'm sorry, Mr. Conte, you were right. But I doubt you will get to the final and even win it all with that squad. And Giovinco, coming from the southern part of Italy as well, I know is going to want to show you up by scoring more and more goals in MLS, taking TFC to the final and winning it all. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke. I have the lineups here going back to the World Cup 2006, World Cup champions Italy under Mr. Lippi. USA, Mr. Conte, threw everything but the kitchen sink at Mr. Lippi's World Cup winning team for 90 minutes plus. Guys, a lot of guys on that USA squad that came from MLS, North American players, did they not have stamina, Mr. Conte? Did they not have the intelligence? Did they not have the understanding how to play the game just as good as you Italians? Give me a break. Here's another example, Mr. Conte, the 2014 Costa Rican World Cup team. How many guys played in Europe there? And Mr. Prandelli went home packing his bags in shame, losing to Costa Rica, who I'm almost positive didn't have at least a quarter of the players that play in Europe. Maybe they had half, but by the list of it, if I recall, not more than half. Unbelievable, Mr. Conte. You should be ashamed of yourself. Vergogna of the highest order. Translation, embarrassing. Absolutely embarrassing. You know nothing about the league. And yes, Serie A is a much better league. We know that. Much better players. We know that. But to say some of the stuff you did, you're a fool. Please.